Hey YouTube, got a problem with the truck. I went to drive it home from work the other night and the clutch. There is absolutely no pressure here. So I got under, I don't know if you can see this very well, but I checked the master cylinder. Oh yeah, you can see it. Right here, there's a little fluid coming out. And there was fluid down on the ground outside on the other side, which is where the slave cylinder is. So what I'm going to do today, have my replacement parts. There's the master cylinder and reservoir and the slave cylinder. I'm going to replace both of those. It was cheap. One was 20 bucks and the master was 20 bucks and the slave was 12, so not too pricey. And as you can see, it's really simple replacement, at least for the master cylinder right here. There's two bolts and the bolt that holds the pedal on, and then underneath, I haven't even looked under here, but I'm sure I can find it in just a few seconds. Oh, and you can see all the fluid that's coming off of that slave cylinder right there. All of that nonsense. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace both. That's only a couple bolts there. The only thing I'm really worried about is these fluid lines. If they're froze up, I know they can be a real pain in the ass. But we will move right along with this. Okay, so these lines came off real easy. At least they unscrew real easy. This one has plenty of slack in it, so I was able to pull the little nipple out. But on the bottom side, there's not nearly as much slack. So I'm going to have to remove the slave cylinder before I can pull that line out, which is not a problem. I don't think it's going to be a problem. And I just wanted to take a look at this one and verify that it's the two bolts on the bottom are all I have to remove to be able to get that out. And yeah, that's it. This is just a bleeder. Oops. Sorry, new camera. This is just a bleeder valve here, so that's nothing, and that's where the line goes in. So I'm going to go ahead and get under there. And I don't know why they do this, but the plunger is separate from the cylinder itself. I'm thinking it's going to go in this direction, you know, with the slotted part down inside there. But we will verify that when I take the slave cylinder off. So I'm going to head under and do that right now. Looks like it. The lines used a 10 millimeter. I used a 10 millimeter combo wrench for that. It looks like the bolts are going to be 12 millimeter. And I'm going to get under there with my socket and take care of that now. Okay, so I have the old slave cylinder removed, and I was wrong about the notch. You see, it's right there on the outside end, and it just holds the boot back. That's all that notch is for. It was real easy to remove. Just the two bolts. They broke real easy. No problems there. So I'm going to move on to the master cylinder. Okay, the master cylinder is off. Now, holding the master cylinder onto the pedal was the cotter pin there and the spring, which makes a lot of fucking noise. I'm hoping I can eliminate that spring just because I'm so annoyed by the sound every time I push in the clutch. So, I got that off. I'm going to take and adjust this as close to the length of that as I can. I know that's a big deal when it comes to this. So I'm going to go ahead and get the cylinders back on after I adjust that, and then show you how I'm going to bleed it. Okay, I have the new master cylinder mounted completely. The line hooked up and it's mounted to the body. Now the slave cylinder, I only hooked up the line. I did not mount it to the transmission yet because I need to bleed it first. So how I'm going to do that, I'm going to start with the gravity bleed. And then you take your .3 brake fluid, works in a clutch. I mean, that's what it's made for, is for these type of hydraulic systems. I'm going to go ahead and fill this up. And then on the underside, let's see if I can do this and hold my tablet at the same time. I'll show you what I'm doing here. I'm going to open up the bleeder valve. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do that without breaking the line, so I'm going to set this down for just a moment. Ooh. Okay, that's not going to work. I'm going to attach this and turn the video right back on. That's not going to work. I'm going to attach this and turn the video right back on. What I think is happening, as you can see from the fluid leak in here, it's pretty dirty. There's probably a slight clog in there. So pumping it out will be fine. And I have a bleeder kit here. What you do is you fill this with brake fluid. You connect it to the bleeder valve on the bottom using one of these hoses, and then you just pump, and it'll pump the air out, but when it returns, it'll suck brake fluid back up in there, rather than air if we just left the bleeder valve open. So I'm going to get started with that, and I'll let you know how it goes. Alright folks, so I have the cylinders replaced, and I had to adjust the clutch pedal because the clutch was constantly engaged. So I think I've got that adjusted properly. I was going to hook the spring back up because this pedal has a little play in it, and I didn't know which was going to be more annoying. But came out from underneath the dash. So I am going to be pulling all this out, painting some of it, and replacing other parts. So when I get to that point, I will put the spring back on the clutch. Until then, I'm just going to leave it as it is, unless it's horrible. So, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you guys for a test drive with me. Okay, so my tablet unexpectedly rebooted during my last clutch test. So, I parked it, cleaned it, did some paperwork, and I'm going to go ahead and run through this clutch test with you again. Now there's no play in it like there was before. I think because I took that screw or that spring out, and it's just going to take some getting used to, but it shifts so much better. Obviously that was a leak that had perpetually gotten worse over time, and now it's gone. I mean, before I did this work, you could notice that it got harder and harder to shift and kind of have to slam it in there. And now it's just great. I mean, if I were to go to make a turn, I would not be able to put it in second gear. I'd have to slow down, make the turn, and then put it in second gear afterwards. But now I can pop it in second gear, no problem. So this has made a big difference. I'm going to go ahead and run up to the seawall here, because it's a beautiful day, and I want to see what the surf's looking like. See how blue the water is and all that. You never know what you're going to get until you take a look. And that clutch is perfect. And you don't hear the creaking anymore when you push in on the pedal, so I'm really happy about that. And the water's relatively blue today. I've seen it look like chocolate milk, so it's nice to not see brown in the water. And it's a lovely day. This is Tuesday, it's spring break, so it's a little too packed for me to want to hang out around here. I don't like all these terraces all over the place. I mean tourists, rather. Oh man. So now I'm just going to ride back to the crib, right down the street from the beach. I'll give you all a quick walk around.